Let's talk a little bit about the role of the product manager. Everyone has an idea of what a PM does, but there's some variability, and we'll discuss that. The one thing, though, that is always true is that at the end of the day, the role of the product manager is to make sure that the team is solving the right problems and successfully building products that people want. In order to achieve this, product managers are positioned in the center of design, business, and technology. On the design side, PMs understand the user's needs and their motivations. PMs are advocates for the user. On the business side, PMs understand the business goals and can align the product to help meet them. And on the technology side, PMs understand how the product is built and can have technical conversations to understand some of the complexities, risks, and trade-offs. It's common that PMs might skew more towards one dimension or another, but at the end of the day, PMs need to have the background from all three of these areas in order to be successful. Product managers often act as mini CEOs for their product when taking them from an idea to launch. This is somewhat true, as they are responsible for the outcomes of their product. But a common misconception is that people often think that PMs are in a position to make all decisions. That's not quite the case. In reality, PMs rarely have any direct authority over the team, meaning that PMs don't manage anyone working on the team that's building the product. So it's important to be able to influence without authority and guide the team to the outcomes that you want. Instead, PMs work with and align everybody to define what the product should do and why it should be built. Building strong relationships is key. One of the ways I've found to build strong relationships is by getting to know people on the team better. I'll frequently ask people on my team what they think we should be focusing on, what they're excited about working on, or what they're worried about. Having this understanding of how the team is feeling is helpful in figuring out how to position and get the team excited about the things that we're working on. A large focus is on identifying and defining problems to make sure that the team is solving meaningful things. Before the team starts solving a problem, they need to be sure that it's the right problem to be solving in this moment. PMs can provide this context by clearly defining and articulating the problem, why the problem matters and should be solved, and the outcome for what will happen if the problem is solved or not solved. Problems can matter for a lot of different reasons. Let's walk through a couple examples of why solving a problem might matter. First of all, solving a problem might make your product more appealing to users. It might increase sales. Potentially, it could reduce user churn. And in some cases, solving problems might be required in order to stay competitive in the market. Or they might make your team more efficient. Or they might be legally required if you want to continue selling the product. Generally, factors to consider are impact of solving the problem and the amount of effort to solve the problem. Focusing on the outcome that's needed is what will help to answer why the problem matters. It's also this that can get the team super excited. PMs also prioritize what the team is focusing on. It can be incredibly challenging to figure out what problems the team should and shouldn't solve. But no company has unlimited resources. So prioritization also becomes super important because the team cannot be doing everything all at once. You have to be comfortable with tuning out some problems, at least until a later date. I've found it super helpful to think of prioritization as answering the question, what should the team be working on right now, versus at a later time. Using stack ranked lists can also be helpful as they force a lot of great discussion around prioritization. Here's an example. Oftentimes, you'll end up with many important high priority P0s, and it can be challenging for the team to know which P0 is the most important out of the three and what's the one that they should be focusing on first. By stack ranking, it's much clearer how important things are relative to other pieces of work. In this case, there's still 3 P0s, but it's clear that feature B is the most important, and it's the thing that the team should work on first. In this example, this is just an arbitrary choice that I made. But in the real world, You'd use data in order to determine the stack rank of all these items. PMs are the spokesperson for their product. They should be able to answer almost any question about the product or know exactly where to get the answer. PMs should keep the larger team aware of plans, status, and roadblocks that the team's facing. Also important is the ability to persuade and secure buy-in from a variety of cross-functional teams and stakeholders. Remember, since PMs don't typically manage engineers or designers, PMs have to convince the team what they should be working on. PMs can do this by clearly articulating the problem, why it matters, and the impact. And these things are tied to a goal that could be measured in terms of engagement, revenue, reduction in expenses, new users, or App Store rating, just to name a few. But you want to get the team excited about solving the problem. The best PMs can lead a group through a conversation and have the group reach the conclusion that the PM was intending all along from the beginning. And once there's alignment, PMs are responsible for coordinating the development of a product across all relevant parties, like design, engineering, marketing, and support. PMs need to understand all the functions that are required to build a product and bring in the right people at the right time. And one more thing about being a PM. No day is the same, and no day is predictable. There will always be things and fires that come up and need your attention. It keeps things exciting though. Some days you might be out of the office meeting and interviewing users. Other days you might be going through a design sprint, or working through a technical problem with the engineering team, or watching users going through a usability study, or maybe going through a quarterly business review, or meeting with the support team to understand top issues, or getting an email from leadership asking why a certain feature is behind schedule, and why the team isn't working on another feature, or giving a presentation at a launch event and meeting with the press for interviews, or dealing with production issues, like when a server goes down or an iOS update breaks part of your app.